Hi, Shamanweaver Sheila Baker here, and thanks to those of you who are watching on the replay. What I'm talking about tonight is something that most of us have a challenging time with, and it's called boundaries. It's called knowing ourselves well enough that we know our bottom line. But oftentimes, we're taught when we were itty bitty. Just a second, I'm getting a little smudge here. A very little smudge. So we were taught when we were itty bitty that the way that the big people around us, what they did was what was right. So let's just start by doing a little smudge and clearing that out of the way. So here we go. So place your hands or your hand on your heart and draw your essence down into your body from wherever it's been so far today, and allow yourself to be open. Pardon me, clear the pathway to be open and available for all that the universe has for you. And the way that we come to know this, to be with boundaries, to know what the universe has us, is to be able to say yes to things and also to be able to say no to things. When your no has no meaning, your yes has no power. So what the heck does that mean? Well, I'll give you a little example. A while back, I was with a single dad, and he was taking his 7-year-old and maybe his 9-year-old, something like that, out. And he asked the little girl, did she want to do something? And she said no. And he asked her again, and she said no. And the next time he asked her, he said, oh, just for daddy? And she acquiesced. Afterwards, I had a conversation with him that I said, you asked her, did she want this? She said no. You asked her again, did she want this? She still said no. And then there was this moment where, how can she deny her daddy for that? And she said, okay. So when we undermine one another's no, do you want this? No. I think about, I was working as a weight loss counselor for a while, and I would hear from these people, from my clients, that, they went to a party. The people there knew that they were attempting to shapeshift to another version of themselves. And they would be offered all kinds of things. And they had to continually say no. Do you know how difficult it is to say no over and over? And, for myself, being a woman, I know when I cave. And I'm coming to know why I cave. But we're taught, sip of tea time, thank you. We're taught as itty bitties for our no to have no power. So as you get bigger and you start saying no to things, you begin to expect that there's going to be resistance, that someone is going to say, you must do this, you've got to. And because we don't know how to hold our no, our integrity, well, tonight I'm going to talk to you about the idea of boundaries. And, spiritual folks like us, we talk about energetic boundaries, but we don't talk about the physical, emotional boundaries. Well, tonight I'm going to. So you can reach your hands, oops, sorry. You can reach your hands out 3 feet from your nose to the end of your fingers. 3 feet. They used to measure that for yards. So that is your energetic boundary. As far out in front of you, out to the side, and if you were able to, back behind you. That is your, call it your force field if you like. That is your comfort zone. You know, in other countries, people stand much closer to have conversations than they do here. We're across a table and we kind of like that, right? But any closer than this sphere in front of us, as far as we can reach, becomes uncomfortable. And yet, we'll feel it. We'll wonder what is going on when someone intrudes. So, here's a tip for you. You get to figure out for yourself, starting today, starting now, because I just gave you that tip, what's comfort for you? How can you bend your elbows? Can you let people in that far? You know, can they get right up close in your face? And just becoming aware of what does that feel like for me? You know, somebody else, they might be rubbing shoulders, and that's comfortable for them. But what is it for you? This is how you learn your boundaries. This is how you learn to say no to someone. Nope, you're too close. Nope, you're invading my energetic field. Whether it is with their thoughts and ideas or their physical being. It's okay for you to say, excuse me, you're too close. And it's even okay for you to back up. So think about that for a moment. How many times have you been in a situation where it was too close and you weren't quite sure what to do about it? You could feel those uncomfortable feelings, but you just didn't know what to do. Well, guess what? Back away. And when you do that, when you just, someone's talking and you take, you just back up, they don't actually even notice because they're busy talking. They're not really paying attention to the idea that they're making you uncomfortable. So this physical, from 3 feet to the end of your fingertips, from your nose to your end of your fingertips, this is your North American, maybe even American comfort zone. And just to know that, just to have that piece of conversation, of information, knowing, I'm not weird, I'm not introverted, I'm not creepy, there's nothing wrong with me just because I don't want someone in my space. It's our comfort zone. It's where we relate most well to people. Think about sitting across the table. It's about that far. So this is your comfort zone. This is your boundary. And you get to know it on a physical level. You get to experience it. You can even play with somebody. You can get someone that you know, love, and trust. You stand there, and then you can have them approach you slowly and feel in your body, what does that feel like to me? When even if you know them, how close is too close? And you can set this up ahead of time where you just say, stop. Or you even better, you say no further. Because you begin to practice saying no. We are totally trained out of saying no. But by the time we're 5 years old, we have heard 65,000, yes, 65,000 no's. That's even an old study. So we're blasted with no's, and yet we don't know how to say no and stand our ground. So boundaries are physical. They're also emotional. What are your emotional boundaries? How close are you willing to let someone get? So sit in that in a moment. Pardon me. So here's a sipping question. So how close are you willing to let yourself get to you? You know, so often we actually don't know ourselves. A while back, I was expanding my horizon about something, and I ran across, and I can't actually remember it, I'm really sorry, but I ran across a belief that I had, and I went, oh my God, I didn't know that. I didn't know I believed that. So take some time to actually get to know yourself, to spend some time thinking about, talking about, you know, sit and sip and have some time with yourself to get to know yourself. What do I think about that? What do I think about that? What do I think about that? Just because you think about something does not mean that you're committing yourself to taking the action. So that will help a lot of us, because there's something inside of us that says, if I start talking about this, oh my God, I'm going to have to do something about it. Well, it doesn't mean that. What it means is that you know yourself a little better. So that, you know, when big shit comes down, you're going to go, nope, 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 and no. So, and there's another piece of this that I find absolutely fascinating. There's several areas of our lives, right? When I do my masterclass, I talk about checking in, and we check in on 5 areas, but there's other areas of our lives. So we check in physically, we check in emotionally, we check in spiritually, we check in financially, and we check in terms of relationships. You know, where are you in terms of your relationships? But there's more than just that. There's, where are you in recreation? Where are you in creation? What are you creating? What are you investing your time and energy into? When you can look at all the areas of your life, maybe you're writing a book, maybe you're stuck in a job that you're just like about had it. Maybe, well, who knows? There's a bazillion maybes, right? So maybe you're one of the maybes. So you're going to get tired of hearing this. Sit and sip. And with your favorite beverage, ask yourself a few important questions. You know, ask yourself for your non-negotiables. I remember the first time that I heard that, and I was getting some coaching, and they asked, so what are your non-negotiables about this area of your life? And I would, that was my first reaction. And then I went, wow, I could have non-negotiables. I can even know what my non-negotiables are. So that got me to sit down, sit and sip. And I started to write out. I took the big things in life. My work, my home, my family, my money, my other relationships, the book that I was writing, you know, my career, the loves and passions that I had. And I looked at all of them. My car, my home, my boat, whatever it is that you either have already in your life or that you desire to bring into your life. What are your non-negotiables? So back then, which was like 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, I looked at my non-negotiables. And now, fast forward, you can look at them again because they're not the same. You've grown, you've changed, you've evolved. You're not the person that you were 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 1 year ago even. So what are your non-negotiables for right now? What's important to you? When you write these down, when you spend that sit and sip time with yourself, and you ask yourself, what are my non-negotiables about my home? What are my non-negotiables about my car? You know, my non-negotiables about my car 20 years ago are not my non-negotiables about my car today. You know, I wanted a sports car back then, a red one, so I got it. Now, you know, I'm done with that. My non-negotiables are different now. So early in 2022, go ahead and look at what are my non-negotiables. And the reason that this relates to boundaries is that until you know what you stand for, you don't know what you stand against. So what do you stand for? Your non-negotiables become your priorities, which translate into your boundaries. Nope. And you get to know what they are, regardless of the outside circumstances. You know internally in your core about what's important to you, what your priorities are, what you're going to say no to. And honestly, it doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, what color you are, what gender you are, what preferences you have. You have the ability to live a life based on non-negotiables, which allows you to have boundaries, which allows you to take a stand when you say no. So my encouragement to you is to sit and sip, just like that. What does this say? Let your light shine. Right on. Your light can't shine if you don't know who you are. So find your non-negotiables. You'll find your boundaries. You'll find that fine line over which you don't want to cross. You'll know yourself. You'll be able to be in right relationship with yourself, your ambitions, your causes, your passions, your purpose. Hi, Jackie, nice to see you. So this ability that you have to, like I said, sit and sip, asking yourself these important questions. What matters to me? If I'm conjuring up, if I'm manifesting a house, what matters to me? If I'm manifesting a car, what matters to me? If I'm manifesting a job, what matters to me? When you sit with all of this, you come to really know your heart, your true self. And when you know this, you get to live your life out of this amazing place of always being integrity. Because you know what is important to you. And you know why it's important. You know your priorities and you know your boundaries. All right, everyone. I hope that was helpful. Thank you all for watching. And Tuesday nights on Enlightened Spiritual Warrior, you can catch me here. And we're going to build a dialogue. I'm going to start with a framework of bringing you ideas, shamanic ideas, and foundational ideas for your life so that you can live a life on purpose, with passion and prosperity. divinely guided by spirit. So, blessings, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Love ya. See ya. Bye. And in case no one has told you so far today, you are amazing. Bye-bye. See you next week.